Hello and welcome to another Yummy Reviews, formerly known as Viking Reviews. I'll probably stop doing that after this weekend. Hey, big shout out to Dakota and Family. They're a vlogging YouTube channel, and they're trying to get their family's story out there, so you can give them a look-see. If you like what they do, or if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. They've been real cool to me lately. They've been commenting and watching a lot of my videos, so I thought I'd give a little support back with a little shout out here. So, let's move on to Mass Effect Andromeda. You'd be a monster if you said that the original Mass Effect trilogy didn't make you feel something, whether it was feeling happy, sad, angry, in love. Each game had a different story and different feel to it. Even if Mass Effect 3 wasn't as good as 1 and 2, you have to remember that really is the story and the characters that mattered in the end, and all three games had all of that. Mass Effect 3 may have been a dud in the ending department, but the rest of the game was a great adventure, you have to admit. Mass Effect Andromeda doesn't seem to fit with these other games. I didn't feel any emotional connection to the characters or the game itself. It just seems devoid of the passion or vision that the other games clearly had. Mass Effect Andromeda is lacking in emotional ties to the characters. The group you meet is interesting, I'll give them that, but there really is nothing that stands out to me. Each character goes about their business, and you hardly expect anything more than a resolution to their plot lines. Even the two main characters are empty shells of what Commander Shepard was. It is interesting that they went with twins instead of having two different versions of the main character. I will give them that, but in the end, neither one is well written, none of their responses are interesting, their line delivery was stale, and their personalities were just cookie cutter and dry. And tied in with all this muck, there are some characters who I thought were good. Characters like Jarl, Liam, and Vetra were ones that interested me the most in this game. Mass Effect Andromeda starts out like any other Mass Effect. You're thrown into a new and desperate situation with two human sidekicks. Examples, Mass Effect 1 you got Kaidan and Ashley, or Jenkins if you count him. Mass Effect 2 you had Jacob and Miranda, and Wilson if you please. Mass Effect 3, they're thrown a completely new character named James and an old returning character named Ashley. Finally, Mass Effect Andromeda, you start out with Liam and Cora. So, you know, two human counterparts and a desperate situation always starts out the games. The opening is a little underwhelming in this one. You land on an alien planet, and already you're fighting with a strange alien race. I'm going to go into spoiler talk here, so you can skip ahead if you want to, but I'm going to probably rant for a minute. Mass Effect Andromeda copies off Mass Effect 2 so much that you can see where the story is going. With your first encounter with the Angaran, where it was the new friendly species you find. Not only do the new alien attackers look exactly like them, but everything from the get-go points to collector-type situation, where the Angaran are transformed into Ket, much like the Protheans are transformed into collectors. It's painful because Mass Effect has always thrown in multiple curveballs to keep you off the trail of the true story, whether it's Saren being controlled by Reapers or Legion being a sentient friendly Geth. You never knew what was around the corner. And with all the possibilities of a new universe to discover, the Andromeda universe, it just seems like you could have done with a better story. And then all this ancient technology stuff making the planets habitable, it was just kind of stupid to me. I'm going to be quite blunt. It was dumb. The choices in the game are painfully dull as well. They don't normally affect anything, and even if they are, if they're going to affect something in the next game, well, now there might not even be one. So we're not going to get any resolutions, apparently. EA has already closed the doors of Mass Effect Andromeda, and in the most EA move ever, have stopped all work on the game, leaving plenty of glitches and broken multiplayer servers behind. I was so heartbroken to hear that Mass Effect Andromeda is going to stop being improved, because really the updates were helping the game. Plenty of spicy memes came around about with the awful facial animations, floating enemies, and hell, I even had a scene where my character's head was rotating the whole cutscene. I played through the game again once, and then again with the updates once they released, and I found out two things. One, the game does run better now, and look better. And two, I just really didn't care for it. Playing through it again, it was just boring, and I didn't feel invested in it again. Most Mass Effects I can play multiple times without having problems. Mass Effect 2 especially, I've played it at least 20 or more times, with Mass Effect 3 being second with around 10, and Mass Effect 1 being around 5. Mass Effect Andromeda has 2 playthroughs, and I think it's mostly because the others were interesting and kept you invested, and the choices were difficult, so it made you want to go back and play through it again and do a different thing. Mass Effect Andromeda didn't have many interesting choices. Not only that, but there are no Renegade or Paragon options, so those are 2 of my favorite things from the trilogy. Cut out the choice of morality, and you're left with cookie-cutter responses and dull moments in the story. The multiplayer runs about the same as Mass Effect 3, but it's dead now. I tried booting it up a month ago, and the servers were dry as a bone. Even when I did get into a game by myself, the servers were laggy, and they've obviously been forgotten about. You know, the co-op was pretty fun in the game. I enjoyed Mass Effect 3's co-op, and Andromeda was exactly the same, and I was okay with that. But it's just sad to see it all crumble because the EA wasn't seeing dollar signs. The new enemies and worlds you find are interesting, but I did find them a little annoying, especially the ancient technology stuff. Sometimes you just go too far and you create an alien race that built habitable worlds, and I just feel like... I just feel like it's dumb. I am interested to see where the story is going, if it does get a sequel. And I'm interested for 3 reasons. 1, there are a lot of cliffhangers at the end, like the Quarians being stranded. You can strike a deal with the Ket leader, and you're starting a new civilization. It's cool to see where it's going to go. 2, even though I wasn't invested in the characters, I am interested to see where the relationships I made would go. And 3, man, I just love Mass Effect, and I want to see it done better. This is the first next-generation Mass Effect, and it's just not good. My love for the original Mass Effect trilogy made me love this game, my first playthrough, but the second time going through, and all the decisions that EA has done, it lost its spark for me. Mass Effect is essentially dead for the time being, and EA can only blame themselves. They rushed the game out, they didn't quality test it, and they gave up on this long-running love series after only a few months of it being released. I cannot blame the team behind the game, I can only blame EA. If they had given a damn and given it the time and love, we might be having a different conversation here. You know, I did enjoy a few things in this game, like the new vehicle, the new worlds to explore, and exploring like it's in, you're playing Mass Effect 1 again. And the guns and customization were great. But the glitches, the lack of support, the bland main characters, the cookie-cutter conversations, the stolen plot lines, and on and on and on. It just weighs heavy on my heart. I have to give Mass Effect Andromeda a 1.6 out of 5. Rotating.